Parish Commission regular session to order. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Dominic, Johnson, Jackson,
Here.
Lynn, Bowman, Cawthorn, Gage
Present.
Watt,
Present.
Middleton, Atkins, Chavez, Smith, Lewis Johnson.
Thank you.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. We'll have an invocation by Commissioner Gerald Bowman and our pledge of allegiance by Commissioner John Atkins. You will please rise. Thank you.
All right. Everyone may please bow your heads. Oh, gracious God, just thank you so much for allowing us to be here today. Lord, you are such a great God. Lord, I ask that you just continue to forgive us, Lord, for all our sins, God. God, I ask that you just allow us to have peace amongst any differences that we may have, but also, Lord, help us to be reminded to be united for our purpose, Lord, we'll be reminded of, and that is to serve the citizens of Caddo Parish. Father God, I ask you just continue to protect us and guide us and make everything be productive and progressive in your sight. It's these things we just entrust in your Son, Jesus' name, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in facing the flag, and if you are current active duty or retired military or first responder, feel free to render the proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No, it's to be out in 30 minutes. What? Any agenda additions, Mr. Clerk?
I have none, sir.
Okay, citizens comment. What's next, I'm sorry?
Citizen comments, sir.
All right. Any citizen who wishes to address the commission on any issue other than zoning must fill out a comment card located in the chamber for you and return to the president of the commission clerk or myself. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes. Please note that citizens who wish to address the commission on matters relative to public hearings, items that are listed on our agenda, will be limited to a cumulative of 15 minutes each, for or against an issue that's later on the agenda. Those who wish to speak or make a presentation are asked to select their speakers and address the points they wish considered with this limitation in mind. That is only when we get to our public hearing.
Yes, sir.
Right. But we are at citizen comments only at this point. I'll call them in the order that I see them here. I have Mr. R.J. Johnson, Confederate Monument Committee.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Just want to come give you an update, let you know we had over 300 people that participated in the public hearing process that we held in relation to the Confederate Monument. Tonight we will be having our committee meetings, again, our normal committee meetings at 6 p.m. So all of you, of course, are invited. Any public that would like to attend can come as well. So we will have that tonight. If there are any questions that you guys ever have about the committee, please feel free to reach out to me. I make sure that Todd and both Mario and Todd are included in the committee's email. So when we send an email, it goes to everyone, including the minutes. They are all available, and all of the information has been available throughout this process. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to look at this process. And we want to let you know that we're still working on it. Tonight we will talk about the start of the drafting of the recommendation that we will send to you. So thank you so much for your support through the process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize in advance if I pronounce this wrong, Nikita Williams. Nikita, okay. RJ, did you state your name and address for the record? I'm sorry, did you do your name and address?
No, I don't think you did.
Yeah, you might want to do that. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. R.J. Johnson, P.O. Box 52104, Shreveport, Louisiana 71135.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Ms. Williams, if you would please name and address for the record.
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Nikita Williams, 3015 Independence Avenue, Shreveport, Louisiana 71109. So I have a prepared statement. I'm just going to read really quickly. So to the members of the Caddo Parish Commission, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you briefly today. My name is Nikita. I was born and bred here in Shreveport, and despite living and working all over the world, I still very much consider and happy to call Shreveport home. First off, I would like to commend you for your efforts to thoroughly evaluate and consider the social, economic, historical, psychological, legal, and interpersonal implications of the future of the Confederate Monument currently located in the front of the Caddo Courthouse. Your earnest and transparent commitment to this endeavor is crucial not only for maintaining trust between the commission and those you serve, but also for bolstering confidence that your ultimate decision regarding the future of the monument will be well-informed and unbiased. I personally was very happy to hear of the formation of the Citizens Advisory Committee and was further elated when they recently reached out to the community more visibly by way of the public listening sessions that recently concluded last month. However, I come to you today with a serious concern that threatens to undermine the integrity of the enormous task you have entrusted to this advisory committee. It has recently come to my attention that one of the committee members has not one but two significant conflicts of interest that potentially nullify the impartiality with which the committee has been asked to evaluate and ultimately make final recommendations regarding the monument. While I understand that the committee should and does in fact represent a diversity of viewpoints and experiences, it is concerning that the current president of the Shreveport chapter of the Daughters of the Confederacy, Ms. Jackie Nichols, is a sitting member on the committee. She and the organization clearly have a vested, irrefutable, and unwavering interest in maintaining the status quo with regard to the monument that the Daughters of the Confederacy erected in the first place. Further, and most egregiously, Ms. Nichols is the author of a widely publicized movement and petition to cease and desist all actions to remove this and other Confederate monuments in the area. As the prominent figurehead of a campaign and author of a petition that dates back 2 years, which I would like to remind the Commission predates the solicitation for applications, the vetting of applicants, and the final selection of the advisory committee in late summer, early fall of 2016. And given her outspoken and inflexible position on the monument issue, I am dumbfounded how she was selected for this committee in the first place, rather than more appropriately being rendered ineligible for consideration. I and many other concerned citizens and taxpayers remain unconvinced that Ms. Nichols will be capable of weighing all options regarding the monument in an unbiased and impartial way, as she had so publicly asserted her position long before her tenure on the advisory committee. Her mere presence on the committee seriously calls into question the fairness and transparency of this evaluation process, the Commission's real commitment to building honest relationships with the community, and questions both the underlying intentions of those selecting the committee members last year.
Your time has expired.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Okay, I just have a couple more.
Do you have an acclamation? Sure. Okay,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
So it calls into question the underlying intentions of those selecting the committee members last year, as well as those commissioners who will be weighing the advisory committee's final recommendations for the monument. As such, and given the time sensitivity of this matter, it is imperative that Ms. Nichols recuse herself from the committee immediately. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I have no more public comments at this point. Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
So moved. Second. Motion to suspend the rules to do special, I don't think we need a motion. I'm sorry.
What's the next item?
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Next, we have no visitors. We move to special resolution. Special resolution of recognition and welcome to Omega Psi Phi Rho Omega and friends. Let the good times roll weekend.
Please stand so we can read the special resolution of recognition. And wood.
Yeah. That's all it's supposed to be.
Mr. Fred Moss, and the member of Rho Omega, please come down and be joined by Commissioner Lyndon Johnson as well.
That's good.
Come on, Mr. Wesley. So you wear your purple shirt today? All the time. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please proceed.
In the name and by the authority of the Caddo Parish Commission, whereas the Caddo Parish Commission welcomes the opportunity to recognize the activities of groups and organizations which contribute much to the strength and well-being of the community and the parish. Whereas Rho Omega and Friends Incorporated has served communities throughout the United States and the world, and Caddo Parish commends Rho Omega and Friends Incorporated for upholding its cardinal principles of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. And whereas Rho Omega and Friends is an independent nonprofit corporation chartered by the state of Louisiana and granted an exemption under Section 501c3 of the U.S. Internal Revenue Code, continues to devote its time, effort, and resources to the creation, planning, and implementation of activities and operations specifically designed to enhance the motto of uplifting the community and thus improving the quality of life for its residents, providing scholarships for African American males pursuing higher levels of education. And whereas the men of Rho Omega and Friends have distinguished themselves through their individual years of service to the community in the fields of law, education, public safety, religion, medicine, business, and entrepreneurship. And whereas the men of Rho Omega and Friends Incorporated for 31 years have taken great pride in bringing our community the annual Let the Good Times Roll Festival. This nonprofit organization decided to hold a festival to celebrate African American culture and promote education, art, music, and Southern food. This festival began as a one-day event held in the 500 block of Mile Street behind the Caddo Parish Courthouse and has grown into a 3-day festival on 2 stages at Festival Plaza in downtown Shreveport. This festival helps provide funding for all other various community programs throughout the year. Rho Omega and Friends has distinguished itself in many fields of American society and has always given back to their local communities with projects that build up the youth and provide them with a path to individually grow, gain knowledge, and prepare them for a better future in their local community. Now therefore be it resolved by the Caddo Parish Commission meeting in legal session this 8th day of June 2017, it does hereby welcome, declare, and proclaim June 16th through 18th, 2017 as Rho Omega and Friends Let the Good Time Rolls Weekend in Caddo Parish, Louisiana, extending to all those individuals sincerest expressions of appreciation and gratitude for their noble service to this country, state, and parish, for its efforts to focus the attention of the community upon those individuals and their service. Signed, Stephen Jackson, President, Doug Dominic, Vice President.
You may be seated. Thank you, Mr. Clerk, and thank you, Mr. Fred Moss and my colleague, Commissioner Lyndon Johnson. Just wanted to present this proclamation to you all and hope that you all will have a outstanding festival as you all have had in 30 years prior. And we look forward to you guys continuing and growing the festival in many more years. I remember being a kid coming down to the festival, enjoying it. It was something that you marked on the calendar, had to come out and do. And we want to thank you all for bringing that experience to Shreveport-Bossier and also highlighting the Juneteenth holiday celebration as well. So there's also another tie-in there. And so again, we thank you for the work that you're doing on behalf of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. The tie that I have on today was just the cleanest tie that I had in the closet. Everybody, all my other clothes going to the cleaner. So I appreciate you guys and thank you.
I want to also echo the sentiments of our president. 6 years, I was chairman of Rho Omega and Friends, and when I made the step into the political world, I had to give up my chairmanship. But I gave it up to someone that I felt that was going to be a leader and was going to be out there and do the same thing that I was doing and have the same vision of making the festival grow every year, and that was Mr. Fred Moss IV. So, Fred, appreciate your hard work and the team that you have working with you right now.
And I would like to say on behalf of our bachelors of Rho Omega, chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, and my fellow frat brothers and chapter brothers and Rho Omega and Friends, thank you for this proclamation, and let's let the good times roll.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to say real briefly that congratulations, well deserved. You are an organization that thus do a lot of transcending and make sure that it's not just one section of area that's being done. And just with the Let the Good Times Roll Festival itself, it's some positive entertainment event that people of all demographics, races, families can come and enjoy, and it's something that tourists helps bring tourism here to the area. All these things that are great for Caddo and Shreveport. So I just want to commend you all and thank you all for keeping it up and making it bigger and bigger each time.
Thank you, Commissioner Kaufman.
Very briefly, I want to congratulate you guys for the work you guys have done. I know that the festival started small. When I moved back to town, I saw that it was downtown. And just because I wear red and white doesn't mean I can't be supportive of it. I have been supportive of it and supportive of it.
Black and gold.
And I do realize that in 1911, some good things did happen. We started off in January with something great happening. But before the year concluded, was another group formed. So I want to congratulate you.
Guys, have a great festival.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Good job.
Let's vote on adopting the resolution.
So moved.
Second, moved by Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts, second by Commissioner Kaufman. Please vote on adopting the resolution. I think Kevin is testing our lights and stuff for the next, Mr. Clerk.
All right, next we need to adopt the regular session minutes from May 18th.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Dominic. Please vote on adopting the minutes. That passes 12-0.
Next we move to adopt the special session minutes from alcohol beverage hearing.
So
moved.
Second by Commissioner Gage Watts, second by Commissioner Middleton. Please vote on adopting the special minutes for alcohol and beverage. That passes 12-0.
All right, next we move to communiques and committee reports. Administration response to information requests from commissioners.
Yes, sir. President Jackson, Commissioners, good afternoon. I have a couple items today. Just want to remind everybody that we have an employee picnic coming up Saturday morning at 11 o'clock at Earl Williams Park, 11 to 4. And you're all invited to come. And 100% of the money was raised from donations and not any government money involved in this process.
Emphasis.
Just want to put that out there. Okay. No government money, Mr. Sims.
You know, it almost don't matter what you say. It almost don't matter what you say. It's how it gets translated.
We have a presentation from Mr. James Demijay concerning our flood insurance program and the award we received, a record we received for that.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
This is to bring you up to date on we received our rating from the CRS rating from FEMA. It's a 5-year recycle program. Caddo Parish participates in the National Flood Insurance Program, which means a discount on flood insurance policies within Caddo Parish. Under this program, Caddo is enrolled in the Community Rating System, CRS, which allows the communities to get a percentage, a 5 to 10% discount on all flood policies within Caddo Parish. Just to give the commission, since we have new members, to bring you up to date on a little history on this program. As of September 15th, 2015, Caddo Parish, which includes several municipalities, we have 5,462 policies in effect with a combined coverage of $1,238,037,900. Total premiums is $3,655,159. Total claims since 1978 for flood damage is 2,290. Total amount paid out in insurance claims, $37,904,632. The effects of the Public Works and Engineering Department in Caddo Parish has resulted in us receiving a Class 8 rating. Caddo continues to advancing flood prevention and outreach to the citizens of the parish. Outreach effects are to explain and educate the citizens on the need for flood insurance and show proven effects by the parish and the citizens that will reduce flood risk. The parish continues to pursue federal grants to help its citizens and have experienced more than 2 flooding events within a 10-year period. They become a repetitive loss property. Using these grants, they are used to elevate, relocate, or acquire the property, return it to open space, and some other projects that the commission itself finds beneficial to the public. The parish has applied for funding from the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, better known as GOSEP. Since entering the National Flood Insurance Program, Caddo has elevated one house by obtaining a federal grant for $89,000, acquired 10 houses in between the years 2000 and 2005 at the amount of $1,320,000. In 2010 and 2011, using federal monies once again, the parish purchased 3 homes for $1,046,000. 2012 and 2013, the parish purchased 3 homes at the cost of $769,000. The only severe repetitive loss property in Caddo Parish, which means it has flooded 6 or more times, was purchased by the parish for $200,000 using federal funds. The effects of the Public Works Engineering Department has resulted in Caddo Parish being rated as a storm-ready community. And with that, that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Shea. Commissioner Atkins on the board.
Well, I was on the board for Communique, but I would like, I do have a question if you don't mind. So just so I understand, the parish uses federal dollars to purchase homes that are high risk of flood. We bring using federal dollars, we bring those into the parish, thereby taking them off our
Repetitive loss list.
thank you. And that in turn helps reduce our policy or our premium amounts.
Correct.
Okay.
What that does, it enables the citizen to get out of a flood-prone area. It's a win-win for them, win-win for the community, and for the parish. By us purchasing or going after these grants, we are able to give the individual fair market value, as if the property has never flooded.
So actually above market value.
Yes, sir. Actually above market value.
And lastly, what do we then do with the homes once we acquire
The
them?
homes are demolished, removed all the way down, even including the foundation. The only thing that property can be used for is open space, or if we have enough property, create a park. The only structure that can ever be placed on that property is probably a restroom or a pavilion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. Commissioner Lyndon Johnson.
Yes, Mr. Dumashay, can you send me that summary that you just did? I would like to see some of those key points. Okay, thank you.
Maybe the clerk.
And
Mr.
if you could share that with everybody, and thank you for sharing that. It's an award. It's an award, so congratulations for your hard work. It's not a lot. It's not a lot of. It's a lot of money, but it's as you said, you can only get 2, 3, 4 houses. But it definitely shows the type of system that we have in place to mitigate our losses.
Let me say
and
this.
Repetitive flooding issues. So.
Commissioner Jackson, by Caddo Parish being in the National Flood Insurance Program, whether you go to the insurance companies, whether it's State Farm, Allstate, Shelter, whoever, it kind of regulates what they can charge. if we were not in that program, the insurance companies could charge whatever they felt like. Case in point is going to Lloyd's of London, and whatever they want to charge you, that's what your premiums would be.
Well, thank you for all of that information, and we appreciate you as our administrator or director of that program. We appreciate it, and hopefully we're getting the word out to media or whoever, and however we need to get the word out about this. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We got one more item, sir.
Go ahead,
Need to take my administrator hat on. I'm
last
Chief
time
Master
you
Sergeant
stood at the
retired
podium, it
hat.
almost went down.
Pardon me? Chief Master Sergeant Wilson reporting for duty. I have the distinct pleasure to recognizing one of our very own probation officer, Mrs. Strickland. Richard Strickland is just recently retired from the Air Force Reserve, and we want to recognize his accomplishments. Sergeant, Master Sergeant Strickland, you come forward. He's a 26 years of service. I just want to highlight a few things about his career, and we have a special presentation we want to present to Sergeant Strickland. Sergeant Strickland enlisted in the Air Force Reserve unit back in 1991 at Vauxhall Air Force Base in Red Horse. That Red Horse, Rapid Engineering Deployable Heavy Operation Repair Squadron, that's what that means. Part of what I used to do when I was in the Air Force. And we built places all over the world, and he was part of that unit. In 1991, he graduated from tech school and was in the services department. In 1992, he did a stay at Rhein-Main Air Base for 2 years over in Germany. And in 1992, he was reassigned to Kelly Air Force Base and the Fitness Center. In 1996, he was a MIA Individual Mobility Augmentee. In March of 1997, he was stationed at Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada, and he worked in the services department. In March 1999, he was stationed at Little Rock Air Force Base in Arkansas, and he was promoted to the rank of Staff Sergeant, the non-commissioned officer. In March 2006, he was stationed at Vauxhall Air Force Base and worked in the lodging as a lodging supervisor and was promoted to the rank of technical sergeant. In March 2010, he was assigned to the Global Strike Command, and he is a graduate of the Air Force Non-Commissioned Officers Academy in Residence. In March 2011, he was assigned to the 2nd FSS Vauxhall Air Force Base Fitness Center, and in March 2017, he was retired from the Air Force with a reserve rank of Master Sergeant with 26 years of honorable and faithful service. And his decorations are pretty long, and he is very well educated, holding a master's degree. And at this time, Mr. Ted, you want to
Yes, sir.
bring forth the...
Actually, you should be saying yes, sir, me, I'm the colonel.
Hey, that's all right. Yes, sir.
In that order.
If I could have all the Buffalo soldiers and affiliates, if you'll come stand up here with us too, please. I got to talking to Richard one day after he retired, and due to some unfortunate circumstances, kind of someone dropped the ball a little bit. That wouldn't have happened in the Army, would it? Somebody, okay?
That's right.
Anyway, due to some unfortunate circumstances, when he left, he actually did not get a going away plaque or recognition. So I got to thinking, you know, we really need to do something to recognize his 26 years of service to his country.
That's right.
And so I got with Muriel Burns, and I got his chief probation officer out there, Lauren McGehee, and Clay Walker, and I know that they'll agree that he is an outstanding probation officer, which means I know that he was an outstanding NCO. So we'd like to make this presentation to you. And if I get all the Buffalo soldiers here, and I'll show you, this
Wow.
is a Buffalo soldier print.
Yes.
And it says, to Master Sergeant Richard Strickland, U.S. Air Force Reserve, in sincere appreciation for your 26 years of patriotic service to your country and your genuine dedication to the Buffalo Soldiers' legacy of courage and honor. From your grateful friends of the Caddo Juvenile Report, Louisiana. Of course, this date's a couple months ago, but anyway. It took me that long to get it on the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me sure here. And this is
You can be seated. You can be seated at this meeting.
A little heavy for the army guy.
Congratulations.
Good afternoon to Councilman. I'm just thankful for what Mr. Cox has taken on part to do on my behalf. For those of us who have served, we realize that when we took the oath of enlistment, it was not for any kind of self-gratification or recognition. It was just to help serve our country and defend it from any form of domestic activity. And I'm just blessed and highly favored to be here today, and I just want to thank you for your opportunity and the time that you allowed Mr. Cox to do this. I'm thankful for my wife, my son Joshua, who's my big help. I also want to thank Juvenile Services for coming out in your time just to support me, and of course my Buffalo Soldiers that we ride along with, just trying to spread the good news. And just want to thank you for this opportunity, and you all have a good afternoon. Thank you.
President Jackson, I was advised that they don't ride horses, they ride motorcycles.
I was about to ask, are they riding on horses? They was riding, or they riding them in the city limits? Thank y'all for coming down. Thank y'all for coming down. We enjoy you. Stick around if you can.
Oh, no, not with.
Oh, okay.
Commissioner.
I just wanted to take a moment to comment, if we're in the comment period, correct? KSLA recently ran a story entitled KSLA Investigation Undercovers Wasted Taxpayer Dollars. And I felt that this story was inaccurate and unfair in accusing Dr. Wilson of wasting taxpayer dollars. While it's true that Dr. Wilson purchased several tickets to Washington Mardi Gras based on the past usage of the commissioners, the real story here, the positive story, is that the tickets went unused because no commissioners elected to attend Washington Mardi Gras on taxpayer dollar last year, or should I say in 2016. No airplane tickets were purchased, no hotel accommodations were procured. This is a positive development that resulted from changes that this commission made to the travel policies in 2016. So I think it's inappropriate that the story was worded in the way it did and focused on waste, because I do not think money was wasted. I think taxpayer dollars were saved by changes made to the travel policy of the commission. In addition, the story also pointed out that Commission President Jackson attended Washington Mardi Gras. While it's true that Commissioner Jackson attended Washington Mardi Gras in 2016, I think it's important to point out that he attended on his own dollar. He used his own dollar to attend the event so he could represent the commission in Washington. In my view, the KSLA should be thanking Commissioner Jackson for his service to the parish instead of implying anything to the contrary. I just felt it important to get that out. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. I didn't twist his arm, so.
We know that.
You almost have to take his arm off. Commissioner Vice President.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I just, ditto what you were saying. I got an email from them wanting me to respond, basically saying, we heard from me as vice president did not go, but had an unused ticket. And of course, it goes back to this same thing that you just said. A I thought President Jackson was our president, that he would be able to represent us and do a good job. I elected not to go to try to save taxpayers money and try to keep down some of the negative perception issue that we have. And then I'm getting email saying I didn't use a ticket for $2,500. It's
See.
kind of like, well, we're trying to save money, but then, I don't really know what they were talking about. I told them to talk to you, Dr. Wilson. I said, talk to Erica about a month ago.
That's what they
and
did.
She's like, I don't know what you do. I didn't know anything about the ticket. I guess it's part of the sponsorship or however. Oh, maybe we need to do away with it. I just don't know. It's just, but John, Commissioner Atkins, I appreciate you saying that. I didn't see the story, but I was perplexed by the email I got because it was basically saying, coming to me that I'd wasted, why didn't I go?
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Linda Johnson.
We gonna communicate or we just subject right here?
Communicate.
All right, thank you. I guess first I'll hit on the Washington Mardi Gras. It's bad that you let a handful of people dictate what we need to do as commissioners. There are different parishes in the state of Louisiana that goes to Washington Mardi Gras that lobby their U.S. congressmen and get federal dollars. Now we sit back and we sit in Shreveport while they doing this in Washington D.C. and then we gonna wonder why we don't get federal dollars. That's a bad choice. I would take the negative blogs if I can get some federal dollars on the back end of going to Washington Mardi Gras any day. Whatever we do, you're gonna get some negative feedback, so it doesn't really matter. Just like when Commissioner Jackson said that he spent his own money, then they find out he went to a luncheon, they want to pick on that. So it really doesn't matter. Do what you need to do to represent the residents in your district and the residents of Caddo Parish. Simple. Coming Saturday, Lakeview will have a vote on who will be the water supplier for that particular area. The vote would be either to stay with Lakeview Water Board or to go with Blanchard Utility, the city of Blanchard. I was looking for supposed to be some people here to talk about why we shouldn't do that, but I guess they decided not to show up. So I'll save my comments for that later. But there was a study done in 2013 called the Caddo Parish Regional Water Utility District Study, and it's a master plan. It's online. You can go to our website to see it. The project number is 149677. It talks about how we looking forward in the future about utilizing the water and sewer in the area for Caddo Parish. Bossier Parish also took a part in this particular study as well. Some of the reasons why I want to go with the Blanchard Water District is for years I've talked to Lakeview Water Board about the building. My house has a 1.5-inch line, and then there has other residents that have a 3/4-inch line. So if I use 6,000 gallons of water, I'm charged at a higher rate than a person who has the 3/4-inch line, using the same 6,000 gallons of water. And I've asked for years, why is that? And I've been told for years that I'm using more water. 6,000 gallons is 6,000 gallons. Blanchard, just a breakdown, Blanchard charges like $40.48 for 6,000 gallons. Pine Hill charged $43.64 for 6,000 gallons. Lakeview charges $64.92 with an 1.5-inch line for 6,000 gallons. Using 15,000 gallons, Blanchard charges $86.79, Pine Hill charges $87.08, and Lakeview charges $126.40. So you see why I'm looking to try to save the citizens of Lakeview area some money by switching over to Blanchard. Anytime that you can get rid of the middleman, you can save money. So that's what I'm trying to do. Enough with the water. Animal services. Chuck, can you come and give me an update on the horses? I saw the email, but I want the person who made the complaint to make sure that they hear it as well.
Yeah, we've been out there and we've been working with the zoning commission there, and they did start with 22 horses a couple months ago. They're down to 16 now. We're this weekend they're supposed to take 7 more out, and we're trying to work with them to get them all out of that area there. We did get some official paperwork from the zoning committee, which we're looking into that portion too, which has some other stipulations in it. But anyway, we are trying to resolve that situation, and
Okay, thank you. So when we have deals like that made, let me know about it, especially if it's in District 2. That way I won't get blindsided by somebody that's complaining. I can kind of give them a heads up of what's actually trying to be done.
All right.
Instead of them riding by and seeing all these horses and then complaining. What
All right.
about the Vailwood with the dog?
is that Miss Matthews? Yeah.
Miss Matthews, right.
Yeah, they were supposed to move that dog. We did catch a dog, and we caught a cat that was running through her yard, but she said that there was another one, so we talked to the neighbors, which is who she thinks it is, and they're supposed to move that dog because they don't have a fence. They're supposed to move that dog to their father's house.
Is this
Okay.
Queens Road?
Yes. Okay, thank you, Chair.
Okay, sir.
Mr. Sweeney.
It's on the road.
Monday I asked about what was some of the holdup on the David Rains addition.
There's no holdup. It's already been approved.
It's approved now, but what was the holdup?
There was no holdup.
I was told it was a holdup.
We didn't receive that information. It was approved in 20 days. Typically, the site plans are approved in 30 days.
Okay. Next of all, I called the office about a stop and fly that's on the corner of Jewel and Doris Street. It's a gas station. Stephen Jean, not it. But I called Stephen to ask about that. Basically what they did is they leased out a part of their property, and somebody just put a pod and they post out a tent, and they sit outside and they sell stuff out of the pod under the tent. I know that cannot be legal under MPC guidelines that they do that.
And that would need to be channeled toward Alan Clark for enforcement.
Well, I called your office to find out about it, to investigate it, and hopefully I'll get an update.
Okay. This is the first I've heard of it, so wasn't aware of it.
Okay, well, can you make sure that I get an update?
I will channel that to Mr. Clark and have him get in touch with you.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have. Thank you.
I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna go down, but Mark, and you can stay there, I think, and it goes back to, you can stay there. I think it goes back to what I was saying at our horse meeting, is a lot of these infractions are taking place on the weekend. And folks have realized city, parish offices are shut down on the weekend, and I don't know specifically if it's doing, okay, but it's going on it, but I know a lot of these infractions take place on the weekend, and so we need to try to figure a way, how can we maybe get our zoning officers maybe some more flexible hours, because a lot of infractions that I see take place over the weekend, and they know when you call it in, nobody will come until Monday, and so we start the infraction on Friday at 5 o'clock. I got Friday, Saturday, Sunday to get it done, and so maybe if we need to start looking at some flexible hours and those kind of things. And I know Alan has conveyed that we need to properly beef up his capacity and ability to enforce with enforcement officers. So please, when budgeting time comes, make that known loud and clear for me. Thank you, Commissioner Johnson, and thank you for getting the lady with Queensboro taking care of it. Dr. Wilson.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Johnson, I just signed a contract today with David Rains, so that's on its way.
Right, but I still was told it was a delay at the MPC, the reason why it wasn't signed early.
Okay. Good to today.
Thank you.
Also, Commissioners, I do applaud the comments of Commissioner Atkins with respect to unfairness. And I did email a couple of you all about the potential of a BRAC coming in 2018 to 19. And what that means is that sequestration is gonna go away, and the Air Force, I guess the Defense Department is gonna re-implement looking at base closures. And if we don't have a viable mission at Barksdale, I know we got global strike, but it could be moved anywhere. Those old frame B-52 bombers, we have to engage at all levels to advocate for the next generation bomber, which is the B-21 bomber, to be placed here to replace the one at Barksdale. Because with that comes a relatively assurance that the base viability will be secure for the next 20 to 50 years, because the economic impact on our region is $3 to $4 billion. And we don't want to lose the opportunity to get the next generation bomber. So we got to get out of our comfort zone and go and engage people and advocate for that so we can secure the viability of the base.
Who just happened to be at dinner that Friday night at the Italian restaurant?
We got an opportunity to talk to the Secretary of the Air Force and the Vice Chief of Staff while we were in Washington, D.C. doing the Washington, D.C. Mardi Gras. I told the reporter that, but that didn't come out. But if you're not in the room, you're on the menu, so to speak. So we have to be present to be a community that's advocating on behalf of our military community, that we want to keep that here and that we support that enterprise. So if you don't go to those places, they will never know who you are. There were five generals in the room with us. There were 2 3-star. The chief of staff of the Air Force was in the room, and 2 other 2-stars, and the Secretary of the Air Force. And we got a chance to talk about how important Barksdale Air Force Base is to us. Wow. And bringing the next generation bomber here. See. That would never happen in Shreveport, Louisiana. And I don't care what anybody say. Okay? If you don't go and advocate, I couldn't make an appointment to see a Secretary of the Air Force. I don't rank that high. But the circumstances prevailing is such that we had an opportunity, otherwise we would never have access to. So again, I'm telling us, let's not be timid. Let's think ahead of the future Shreveporters and Caddo Parish residents of the future by doing what we think is right. Enough said. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, I need to preach.
It's all right.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good preaching.
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. First, I just want to say again that the Appropriations Committee meeting will be on June 19th at 1:30 p.m. That's June 19th, 1:30 p.m. And I also have a question for Mr. Chuck Wilson, please. Natalie didn't think I was going to do. I just wanted to ask, hey, how you doing? Good seeing you.
All right, sir.
All right. I just wanted to ask you about those gloves we talked about purchasing for our animal control officers, because they were using something that was close to the cafeteria serving food gloves when they handle animals. Did we ever order them?
We ordered the gloves that we've been using for a while because we've used a few different types, and the one type is $90 for 100 gloves. For one box.
Are these like the black nitro gloves?
Yeah. That's what those are. They're $90 for 100 gloves.
Yeah, they're worth it.
And well, I mean, versus 22 for 100, and they're both certified by the same. They both do the same thing, and we have these gloves all over our facility. If we could order some other type, but I didn't want. We probably go through 40 boxes a month, so $90 versus $22.
I know,
a
but you know what it all equals out to though.
What's
Each
that,
price,
sir?
safety.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm concerned about. They put their
All right.
lives out. I know you are concerned.
Yeah. Okay. Let me look
saying.
into it some more, and then
Okay.
I'll
all right.
Yeah, since it's
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, sir.
I don't mean to get in the middle of this. Have you ever just did a ride along, or have you ever gone out and actually caught one of them?
Well,
7 years.
I used. That's where I started, was ACO for
That's
2
what I'm
years.
asking.
Yeah.
Have you used those gloves?
Yeah. And they also have leather gloves too that we give the ACOs. These gloves that we're talking about are the ones, the disposable gloves. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because every time that you're messing with one dog, you should be using a single pair of gloves. and then you throw them away. They're the same ones that we use in our medical room. You know, our vet techs use these gloves, and so.
So then they are deemed safe.
So they're a capable glove that's doing their job.
Okay.
And when I looked at the price
Yes,
of
sir.
the $90 gloves for 100 versus $22 for 100, and we probably, like I said, maybe 25 to 40 boxes a
Yes, sir.
month, because when people come to adopt dogs and stuff too, these are the ones that we have in all the rooms,
Yes, sir.
on the wall, because they're disposable, so people can grab them and put them on and touch and feel that dog.
Okay, so it's durable and that's the best.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
To me, that was, I did look into it, and that's.
Well, if you look into it, then I go
Okay,
with the
okay.
professional then.
All right, sir.
And so, speaking of looking into, did we look into, I still have the floor? Oh, I'm sorry. Did we ever look into the training for post-certification, the date? Because I know we asked about that a few meetings ago as well.
Yeah, we
You thought
have.
I forgot, did you?
Well, no, I mean, we only have our one post-certification person.
Right, besides the person that's inside of the office, I'm talking about someone who's actually outside, like an ACO officer. That's that's what we were doing at first, Dr. Wilson.
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong, because y'all are looking at me like I'm making this up, and I know better.
No.
You're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we used to have
Yes, sir.
Yes.
a couple more post-certification people, but we got rid of those positions because our one
Okay,
post.
see, that's what we're not telling here,
Oh, okay.
and that's where I guess the rubber needs to meet the road, because that's not what was even notified and saying. I'm thinking that everyone would still have their chance and opportunity, and I think some of the employees think that as well.
Yeah, because there was only a couple slots that was post-certified, and as those people left,
Okay.
we changed that post-certification to no post-cert, because when we go out in the field, and if we have a situation, we call the cops out there to
Okay.
accompany us.
Okay.
And to get someone post-certified, you have to send them to the Sheriff Academy for 3 months,
Right.
and go through all that training. And so we felt that the best thing to do was, when we got situations like that, that we call the sheriff or the
Got it.
SPD to come out and assist them with that.
Okay.
Because they get trained on a monthly basis and know how to,
Yes, sir. Thank you for the clarity.
Okay.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate the information.
Okay.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Mr. President, for your patience.
All right, no problem. Commissioner Chavez.
Oh, thank you, President. Mr. Sweeney, you would. Hey, I just want to make the inquiry. I came down to the NPC, I think 2 days ago, to get some work done. And they told me that your guys' hours are closed from noon to 1.
That's correct.
How long has that been in effect?
For over 2.5 years.
Did that come on when you started working there?
Yes, sir.
How do we get that changed?
We won't, because that's an internal policy of the MPC.
I feel that as an aspiring business owner or wannabe entrepreneur in the community that may only have a 12-to-1 lunch break to come down to the MPC to discuss those topics, that would be the optimum time to have access to you guys. And I don't know how that needs to be changed, but I think a lot of people have voiced their concern that shouldn't be there. I asked Dr. Wilson, are you guys closed upstairs at noon for lunch?
No, sir.
I don't want to tell you to do your job, but I think the possibility of having somebody there to field those calls and take those requests may be beneficial to the parish. I don't know how we can fix that, but that's merely a suggestion I want to pass off.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you.
That's it, President.
Thank you. Thank you for the warm up. Commissioner Mills.
Thank you, sir. First of all, thanks to Commissioner Atkins for your comments a while ago as far as the KSLA piece goes. Remind everyone that June 14th is Flag Day. Please fly your flags, and remember that you can drop off any flags that need repair until Mr. Johnson's suggestions of having the flag boxes at the libraries, that was a good idea. Until that happens, remember they can be dropped off at the sheriff's substations at Fleet Maintenance on 4910 North Market, North and South subs. Now, Commissioner Johnson made a comment a few minutes ago about a handful of folks complaining. Let me one more thing. Harbor Freight You can get 5 mil, 100 gloves for $7.99. So I don't know why we're paying $90 or anything like that. So we may need to look at that. You got your 20% coupon, you get even less. Who doesn't have those?
That was good.
Commissioner Johnson mentioned a handful of folks was complaining about the travel, and I don't know, a handful of folks. On April 29th, a handful of voters significantly defeated the tax renewals, and people in District 8 had a major hand in defeating that, and they want a voice in the renewal process, and they sure got it that day. And while continuous insistence from travel is justified by some, we must focus our attention on the voice of the citizens and also the future needs of this parish, which December of next year, one of the more important ones expire as far as the renewals that we attempted. Travel on your dollar, and that way nobody can really say anything. I commend again Commissioner Jackson for doing that. District 8 voters, we need to take away, we need to eliminate some of these reasons why people want to defeat our renewals. And travel is a big one that's out there, whether it's the bloggers, but who reads the bloggers? The voters. Who's the voters? Go up and show up for the votes. Well, we saw who they were April 29th. And so we need to respect that. We don't have a short memory about what just happened. We just gotten things handed back to us. We need to be more mindful of our perception, how we're out there. Are we really trying to make a difference as commissioners individually for our districts? And when I speak not on my heart, but on the hearts of the people in District 8. And I have to respect that. They're the ones that put me in office, the 3,650 voters. You'll know that number by the end of my term. But I just want you to understand that. I am here not supporting or not advocating for my own interest. I think travel does have some benefits to it. But then I also think millage renewals have even a bigger benefit. But I do agree with Mr. Wilson about the need to be able to advocate on behalf of Barksdale and its assets, or whether it's Fort Polk and its assets. We need it as a family, a community for Caddo and Bossier and all of Northwest Louisiana. We want to continue to having people retire here and remaining here as we have so many people. So anyhow, I just want to put that out there. I respect everyone's need or the perception they need to travel, but I would like to see NACO maybe get a little bit more. We get NACO emails every day. We get NACO newsletters. And that's still an old way of doing things. It's being done. Let's ask NACO to reform. Let's have these things on more of a webinar type deal. The information you can get. Look at the hundreds and probably millions of dollars that counties and parishes, in our case, spend to go to NACO every year or every couple of years. That's a lot of money. Can we not use that money back in our communities? Let's get a little bit more modern. Nathan out there, he can sure make a webinar happen for anyone that needs it to happen. And so I think we need to be looking at that more than how reasons we can go. And it's coming up here in a little while. Yeah, I believe in people being on committees. If it's done by webinar, I have no problem with that. But it also is systemic. It causes a need for you to have to go to the national conferences. And I think that's a spending of money that we could webinar it and do things a little bit more, no, not just a little bit more, a lot more efficient way. So anyhow, that's it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Linda Johnson.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Wilson, I know we reached out to NACO about those flag disposals of boxes.
Yes, so we have on order already.
I know they're backlogged, and look like they've been backlogged for a while. Can we put something out temporarily until those come out? I think with Flag Day coming up, 4th of July, I mean, we got a lot of reasons why people will be bringing flags in and replacing flags. And we want to make sure we have a receptacle for them to be able to utilize it.
Take care of it.
So we're going to have that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now, when I mean a handful of voters, I'm going to try to defend that number of handful of voters. District 8 represents 1/12 of our parish, 1/12. So you have 11/12 that are still out there that could actually go vote and make a change of the difference. On April 29th, we had an 8.3% turnout. That's less than 10%. So that's a handful when you compare the real numbers. That means people wasn't engaged, they didn't care. So you had more people who didn't care about whether it passed or failed than whether they went out and go vote. So when I say it's a handful, I mean it's a handful. Now what we have to do is engage that other 91% of voters to go and vote. because those are the ones that's gonna make a difference, not the 8.3 that voted. Thank you.
Next, we move to the president's report.
Thank you. I just want to make a couple of announcements here. We did talk about the Let the Good Time Roll Festival that before we return here, we'll have had a successful Let the Good Time Roll Festival. Again, thank you guys for putting that on, and please go out and support that event. It's a local event, and they invite local vendors and local talent to be showcased as well. That's something that we don't want to overlook as well. For those that are watching at home and on live stream, there's an Allendale Neighborhood Association meeting tonight at 6:30 p.m. at the Community Renewal Friendship House on Play Street. There's an Equality March this Sunday at 2 p.m. at the Caddo Parish Courthouse. I don't know if RJ is still here, but there may be some that some of the committee members may want to attend. That's on the Monument Committee. And that's at 2 p.m. on Sunday at the courthouse. The Farmers Market has kicked off, the Summer's Farmers Market has kicked off on Saturday. Southern University's Farmers Market is also on Saturday. Every other Saturday, okay. I want to make sure that I get that in there as well. Southern University of Shreveport, and it's in the lot right there by Southern University's parking lot. So please support both if you can. We want to support our local farmers, what they're doing, our local entrepreneurs. June 22nd, Reform Shreveport will be hosting Joe Minicozy. I hope I'm pronouncing his right, at SHRAC, Shreveport Regional Arts Council, from 6 p.m. to 7:30. He'll be giving a lecture on city planning. So this is a free event that individuals can attend. They'll be talking about economic development, creative placemaking, how you can grow your community from the inside out. And that's something that can be taken, that you can participate in here for free. The Community Foundation is sponsoring it. And so please feel free to take part in it. The KSLA story that came out, I appreciate Commissioner Atkins, and I got your note this morning. I've been in the big city of Homer, Louisiana.
All right, no reception.
But when I did get my blip of reception, I did appreciate you making your comments there on the email, as well as today, and those who have made similar comments. Not less than, I want to say, 4 or 5 hours ago, former FBI director James Comey made a comment which I thought was very profound. I listened to it while I was on lunch. He said, those doing the most talking know least about what is actually going on. Those who know the most seem to have the least of the ability to say less. And I think years, maybe decades down the line, we're gonna look at that quote, and he was talking about our current day present media bloggers and how we report things out. I look forward to going to watch the Marathon next year. I have a history of doing it, going up there when I traveled with my brother. That's the process that we took, that you paid out of pocket. I think the expense is undisputed. To be in the room with the Secretary of the Army or the Air Force. We also had an opportunity to meet with Representative Abraham, who is a ranking member on the Armed Services Committee, and he also is the chairman of a subcommittee on the Armed Forces, and he's talking about, he's trying to advocate getting an entire unit here, which is, I think he said on the high end was 1,500 people maybe, and on the low end 400 or 500. So those folks are going to bring not only those soldiers, but their families. And so you're talking on the very low, when you talk about who may come with them, you're talking 1,000 folks instantly. Those things you cannot trade off. When we walked into the building to visit our congressional visits, walking right out looking at us was former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi.
Wow.
You cannot get that anywhere. And I'm not trying to justify the expense on the taxpayer dollars for or against. I just think that, if I elect to travel, it is so that we can bring resources back to Caddo Parish, not to go on some vacation or not to take some luxury. I don't travel in comfort. I don't take first class flights. I don't go around tipping and just, spending. So, travel very frugal. And so, Matthew will tell you I slept on the hotel bench last year when we went to NACO because my room.
Yep.
You know,
Astronomical.
Calvin, though, because I called Calvin at 6 o'clock that morning. It was 6 o'clock there, probably 8 o'clock here, and I was waking up on a hotel bed because they had canceled my room because I caught a flight out.
Yeah,
and the travel. So
you call it the news, they say Caddo Commissioner homeless, homeless Caddo Commissioner.
Those are the things that you don't hear, and I just hope that we can get and work with our local media to put out more good. I'm gonna wrap up what I have to say here. I was at a scholarship banquet where one of the local news personnel just talked about all the shootings and all the homicides, and he made the comment that there's nothing good to report. And I just wrote a note on the napkin and said, is there anything good to is there nothing good to report, or are you guys choosing not to report it? And handed it to them after the program, and I haven't heard back. But I think there are good things taking place in Caddo and Shreveport. For some reason or another,
absolutely,
that doesn't sell, or they assume that doesn't sell. But when I see wedding proposals and kids and teachers whipping and learning the ABCs and police officers playing basketball in the community, people share that and like that just as much as they share the homicides and other stuff. So, we got to be able to have a balance, and that's all we're asking our local folks to do, have a balance. But, again, Commissioner, I appreciate your comments, appreciate all those, and, we'll just continue to try it. That's what the arena is about. We're in. That concludes my comment.
Next, we move to public hearing on zoning ordinances and cases.
Oh, I apologize. I'm sorry. I see Commissioner Gage Watts under communication.
Thank you.
We're going back to communication.
Okay, thank you, sir. There was one thing that we forgot to mention. I don't have anything to say about the travel because people in District 7 are more concerned about crime than they are travel, so that's a mute issue for me. But on June 17th, the Caddo Parish Black Caucus of the Louisiana Police Jury Association will be hosting at Soundstown from 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. That was the only announcement I needed to make. Thank you.
I believe our commissioners are presidents and vice presidents of that honorable organization, or president and treasurer. Okay, so we have some local representation, leagues and fine organizations, so please support them if you can. Commissioner Chavez.
I was going to make a comment. Nobody mentioned it, and I forgot about it. But the tribute for the American Traveling Wall is at Margaritaville tomorrow.
Yes.
So you guys, if you can make it out there around lunchtime, they're going to have all the veterans that passed away.
It's at 3, right?
It's from 11 to I think 3.
It's 11 o'clock. Yeah.
I know it starts at 11. I don't know what time it's over, but it's an exact replica of the wall at Arlington. So I think you guys should go check it out. I'll definitely be there. Thank you, President.
Thank you for that reminder.
That's a good reminder.
If you have events, get them to Tyler and Michelle so they can put them on the calendar. And I forgot one final thing for my southern folks here.
That's good. I just heard.
Please stop by my booth for the Gentleman's Cooking Classic. They're not letting, are they letting, because when they let the women in, we don't win.
I'm not cooking this
I'm scared to cook.
When is that?
It is next Saturday at the Shreveport Convention Center.
Is this Saturday? The 10th?
This Saturday.
It's usually next Saturday. This
Saturday.
Saturday.
You better get cooking. You better start marinating.
Look at that, he changed.
Wow. It's this Saturday.
Come on, President.
I apologize. Make sure you stop by my booth. That lets you know who's cooking. But Southern University of Shreveport Gentleman Cooking Classic will be taking place, and they also support scholarships for local students here in our community. So that's it for me.
Next, we move to public hearing on zoning ordinances and cases. Zoning case P-1017 in regards to ordinance number 5695 of 2017, amending the zoning of property located on the north side of Ellaby Road, 500 feet west of Gulf Ridge Drive. Amending the zoning from RA Residential Agriculture District to B1 Buffer District, with use of approval to permit medical and allied services.
God bless you.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor of, ordinance, of the zoning ordinance? Is there, here to speak in favor? Go ahead. But this is- We're just public hearing at this time. Okay, you can come on, you can speak in favor.
Jeff Spikes, I-Architecture, 4740 Richmond Avenue, Shreveport, 71106. I'm the architect for this project, and you know, I feel like we did a pretty good job of looking at the architecture and surrounding neighborhood and trying to get a blend. It is a business, commercial use, and I feel like it would make a great addition to the neighborhood, and we've got a lot of positive input from the neighbors, especially the neighbors that are all abutting this property. We've put a lot of feeders out in the neighborhood, and we have a good positive feedback from the neighborhood. So I appreciate your consideration of this case.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor of zoning case P-10-17? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition of zoning case P-10-17? If you're here to speak in opposition, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hello, I'm Dr. Paul Wood. My property abuts this property on the east and the south side, and I've spoken with the neighbors in the area. We all are totally against the drawing that is posted on the property right now. It is very offensive to the neighborhood. The other businesses in the neighborhood look and resemble very much like the homes that are in the neighborhood, and that's what we would like to see. And it's my understanding from talking to Mr. Chavez that we are going to have a meeting about the design of this structure soon. So I just wanted to let you know I'm opposed to the drawing that's up there right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir, would you mind saying your address for the record?
I'm very
please?
sorry. It's 224 Gulf Ridge Drive,
Thank you, sir.
Shreveport, 71106.
Thank you. Next.
That closed public
We got
hearing.
another.
Oh, still one more?
Go ahead.
Okay.
My name is John Settle, 4 Tealwood. I really don't have a dog in this hunt, but I was at the MPC meeting when that matter came up, and the recommendation, I believe, of the MPC staff was that the dwelling should look somewhat like a residence on the outside, and I took the time to go back by there, and you have Ken Ante's office, which looks residential, and then you have the CPA, and I can't remember
Marty
his.
Castellano,
which looks residential. So I'm not really sure what actual plan is before you, and I hope that you can get input from Mr. Sweeney, but it's my understanding that it was supposed to be modified to look like residential, which I believe should be there. I'm very much invested in Grace Community Methodist Churches across the street, and I would like the other property across from that to continue the same design that Ante and Castellano did, which they had to make sacrifices to do that. So again, I hope we can get some professional input, but I think it should look residential from the outside to be consistent with the other two that are there, and even the credit union on down further. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in opposition? All right.
This time that closes the public hearing on zoning ordinances. We move to public hearing on ordinances. Ordinance number 5696 of 2017 set the general purpose millages and special purpose millages, and to instruct the tax assessor to include said millage on tax roll for the year of 2017.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor of ordinance 5696 of 2017? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition of ordinance 5696 of 2017? Next.
Move to ordinance number 5697, setting the parish millage for the purpose of paying principal and interest due in 2017 on outstanding parish bond issues, and instruct the assessor to include said millage on tax roll.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor of ordinance 5697 of 2017? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition of ordinance 5697 of 2017? Next.
Move to ordinance number 5698 to adopt the values fixed or to be fixed by the Louisiana Tax Commission on all assessments for railways and other public service corporations, and instruct the assessor to extend such assessments and values on the tax roll.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor of ordinance 5698 of 2017? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition of ordinance 5698 of 2017? I see none. Next.
Ordinance number 5699, an ordinance setting the assessment of property classified as timberlands and instruct the assessor to include said assessments on the tax roll.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor of ordinance 5699 of 2017? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition of ordinance 5699 of 2017? I see no one.
Ordinance number 5700 of 2017, declaring certain adjudicated properties to be surplus and authorize the parish administrator or designee to sell the parish's tax interest in certain surplus adjudicated properties.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor of ordinance 5700 of 2017? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition of ordinance 5700 of 2017? I see no one, Mr. Clerk. Next.
All right, that closes public hearings on ordinances. We move to zoning ordinances for final passage. Zoning case P-1017 in regards to ordinance number 5696 of 2017.
Motion to move this to next session.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Chavez, second by Commissioner Dominic to postpone until our next regular session. Please vote. Mr. Swing, if you would get some information to Commissioner Chavez and maybe share it with us, so we can hopefully move along next time, either for or against. So we can get that information. Appreciate it.
All right. Next, we move to zoning case appeal. Zoning case appeal BAP 1517-7406 Barrios Drive, north side of Barrios Drive, approximately 949 feet north of Chuck A. Drive. Applicant Daphne Elaine Williams and Katrina Rochelle Williams.
Okay.
Appellant Willie Henderson.
I move to uphold the LPC's decision.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Gage Watt, second by Commissioner Johnson, Lyndon Johnson. Please vote on the motion to uphold. Uphold?
Yes.
Motion to uphold. That passes 12-0.
Next, we move to ordinances for final passage. Ordinance number 5696 of 2017, setting the general purpose and special purpose millages.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Dominic, second by Commissioner Lynn Cawthorn. Commissioner, you want to speak?
Yeah, just, Erica, if I'm correct on all these ordinances, 5696, 97, 98, 99, these are standard ordinances that we do each and every year. The main one we're looking at is 5696 at this time. This is not an increase in any taxes. It'll maintain the taxes, the ad valorem property taxes at the current level. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Not rolling forward. It's same level. Okay. This is something that has to be done in order to allow the tax assessor to actually put the rolls and collect those taxes on our rolls.
That's correct.
And the other ones, I think, concerning timber and railways are from other kind of entities, but it's something that's required for us to do.
That's correct.
Just trying to make some clarification for everybody.
Thank you for that.
No,
Commissioner Lyndon.
I appreciate
Just want to make a motion to englobo and adopt ordinance number 5696, 5697, 5698, 5699.
Second, I'll second that motion.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Dominic. Vote only in global and adopt. That passes 12-0.
Ordinance number 5700, declaring certain adjudicated properties to be surplus and authorize the parish administrator designee to sell parish's tax interests.
So moved for adoption. Second. Moved by the chair, second by Commissioner Lynn Cawthorn. Are y'all on? See Chavez and Johnson.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay. Okay. Please vote. That passes 12-0.
We have no zoning ordinances for introduction. We move to ordinances for introduction by title. Ordinance number 5701, adopting volume 2, Code of Ordinances relative to the Unified Development Code and zoning and subdivision generally, repealing chapter 54 and certain sections of 48 of Caddo Parish Code of Ordinances. Ordinance number 5702 of 2017, authorizing the parish administrator to execute an easement and right-of-way agreement with AEP SWEPCO pertaining to the granting of temporary and permanent easement and right-of-way for the purpose of constructing and maintaining an electrical utility line in sections 30 Township 20 North, Range 15 West, Caddo Parish. Next, we move to ratify the minutes of June 5th.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Lyndon Johnson, second by Commissioner Gage Watts. Please vote on ratification of the work session. Passes 12-0. Next, Mr. Clerk.
Move to resolutions. Resolution 53, supporting the appointments of Caddo Parish Commissioners to policies and steering committees, caucuses, and board of directors of the National Association of County Officials.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Lynn Cawthorn, second by Commissioner Gage Watts. You want to speak on the motion?
Yes, just very briefly, I know in our work session on Monday, there was some discussion as to Commissioner Middleton thought that this was going to be excessive travel. These are appointments that allow you to do a conference call or webinar. It doesn't necessarily, it will not necessitate one having to travel. Just a little while ago, I forwarded Commissioner Middleton a conference call I will be on in a couple of weeks. That's going to last about an hour. It's a conference call, so he'll get an understanding depth and breadth of how these things work.
All right, Commissioner Gage Watts, you want to speak on the second?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Middleton on the board.
Thank you, Mr. Cawthorn, but I think it's systemic. I think the fact that you are on such a committee still is going to require the perception that you need to travel to the NACO for those particular committee meetings there. And if it's just that one committee meeting, that really makes no sense to spend that kind of money in my thought process. Again, I'm going back to the April 29th election. So I respect it. I understand there's a need to have committees, but if we get moderated, if we can do one or two or three webinars or telephone conferences, something like that, why can't we do all of them that way? Instead of having the perception that I've got to go and attend a committee meeting, otherwise you're absent. These kind of committees, I would assume, have been around. I think our association with NACO, if I read somewhere, it's been 40 years. 40 years ago, we didn't have the availability of computers and webinars and the IT that we have now. So now it's time for asking them to please help accommodate the needs of the particular counties and parishes and make it easier so we don't have to spend tax dollars, whether it's us or Spokane, Washington, or anywhere else that has to spend up money to go to these things if it's just that free. Because we know that a lot of that time, and I've been to seminars and all, a lot of that time, and I know this too, it's a commitment for you to be on these because you have to leave your family, have to go off and sleep in a strange bed and all that kind of stuff. And it is a sacrifice that you make on being these. But you don't have to do that if you push for the NACO and all these to do webinar or telephone conferences such as that. But then if it did come down to something like having to defend Barksdale Air Force Base or anything else that are direct assets, then those conferences need to be initiated, I think, through our congressman, and then bring us in, and whatever it takes, man. I can tell you what, saving those folks out there and saving those jobs means about as much to me as anything could, other than my family and my salvation with God. So anyhow, that's just my comment. That's why I'm going to vote no on this. And again, it's just I'm speaking the voice of District 8, not my personal, because I have been out there talking to people and getting emails, et cetera. So that's why I'm going to have to vote no, because again, it's systemic. Then you have to travel. You feel that necessity to travel, and that's why I'm going with that. But thank you so much.
Commissioner Lynn Cawthorn have the point there.
Just as a point of clarification, one could actually be appointed to these caucuses steering committee and could opt not to go to the national conference. These committee meetings, conferences, steering committee happen about 4 times a year. They happen in the form of a conference call. So one could, just because you serve on one of these steering committees, doesn't mean you have to go to the national convention, is what I want to clarify. And the reality is there's a difference between perception and reality. The reality is these appointments in terms of attending meetings are going to be in the form of conference call, webinars.
Okay. Point of clarification also, please. But there are committees that meet, okay, and the perception is, the reality and perception are the same. We've spent money, we've sent people to NACO to attend these particular things, and that's the reality. It's not just perception. We had the money, $30,000 when you considered one that you chose to go to Africa instead of to NACO last year. So respectfully that, I ask, whenever y'all ready, let's vote for it. We know how we're gonna vote. I appreciate y'all, I really do, but
Commissioner Lyndon Johnson.
I'm saying, like I said Monday, we cannot be effective commissioners if all we do is sit around here and push a yes or no button. You have to get out, you have to network with other commissioners, police jurors throughout the United States to try to either help them to do better or to help our parish do better. We've won many awards through NACO, and we've come back with different ideas that other parishes, counties are doing throughout the United States by being at some of these meetings. There's a lot of information that's printed out and given and discussed in some of these steering committees that you're not gonna get on the webinar or anything else. So you have to be there in order to get this information. There again, District 8 is only 1 out of 12 districts in Caddo Parish. So District 8 does not speak for Caddo Parish. It speaks for 1/12 of Caddo Parish. And so I know my constituents, I have not heard a complaint about travel that I've done. And from Monday, you said that we spent $20,000.
$27,000.
That was, the other $7,000 was staff, but you said the commissioners were $20,000, staff was $7,000. So as a commission, $27,000, and you got 400 employees altogether. That's penny on the dollar. Thank you, sir.
Okay,
People on the board.
Yeah, I'm on the board. Again, I would say this, I think you do have to do some travel. And I do agree somewhat with Commissioner Middleton's, your argument, but the thing about it is, the way I'm looking at this is not anything to do with travel, it's just a resolution supporting them being on the committees. And I do not have a problem with that. Commissioner Middleton, if you have an issue with the travel, then we need to put that ordinance, a travel ordinance, back on there and rechange it. I mean, when y'all came on here, that was one thing that we debated and we did. If you have a problem with the travel expenses, then you need to put that ordinance back on there and let's relook at it. And I agree, there may be some travel expenses with administration and things of that nature that need to be looked at. But I'm supporting the resolution as it is. I think that several of the commissioners may get points that you're talking about webinars and things, they're telling you they're having that. But at the same time, you're saying you understand travel when Dr. Wilson says we have to go travel to meet with the Air Force generals, but then you say, kind of no. But I agree a lot with you that we need to look at that. So I think if you want to look at it, put the ordinance back on there, okay?
Thank you, Commissioner Crawford.
Call for the question?
Second.
Oh, there are some people in there. I'm fine. Was that your first time?
That was my first, yeah.
I'm sorry. I got some people in the queue. It's Commissioner Atkins. Very consistent.
Well, I thought we called for the question, but.
Everybody had a chance.
Oh, thank you. I agree with some of what Commissioner Johnson's saying regarding travel. At times, there is value to travel when it's done responsibly in a limited format and when it adds value to the parish. But I also agree with Commissioner Middleton that we need to limit our travel and make sure that it's done very effectively and efficiently. And I also did want to point out that I don't think that District 8 is the only district that shares some of Commissioner Middleton's ideas. I'm sure there are members of District 9 that share those ideas, so I just wanted to express that view of solidarity with you with respect to your fiscal responsibility.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lewis Johnson.
With Commissioner Chavez having already called for the question, I would have been all for that. But since I have an opportunity to speak, I think that Commissioner Middleton is clearly on the record as relates to your position on travel, and I can appreciate that very much. We all can. My background is in training, and a lot of the conferences that we go to, there's training that's provided for the members that you can't get anywhere else. And as a new commissioner, that adds value as well. And that's really the only way you can get it. And it's not a bad thing. I think that the good thing is that travel for the commission is clearly moving in the right direction. We're mindful of that and governing ourselves and doing good things there. when I train, I sometimes get employees who have concerns similar to yours based on everything from travel to cost, or even my most recent one, I had a employer who was concerned that when they have employees, they train them, add value to them, they're concerned that they lose them to other jobs and things like that. And so I posed the question to them, it's your choice. Either train your employees and lose them, or don't train them and keep them. And as it relates to commissioners, either prepare yourself to be the best that you can be and do what's necessary to get that education, and if it's travel, that's what's necessary, or don't go at all and then get what you get when we don't go. So I think that your position is clear, but I think that there's truly value that can be added to commissioners and others when we travel, but we do have to police ourselves and make sure we're responsible in that respect. So even though you called for the question, I'd like to get that.
That was good.
I'm so glad I was gonna be next to him.
I just want to make sure that I think you went already, right? Okay. I just want to make sure that we're clear. This resolution is not about travel.
Amen.
Correct. Okay. This resolution is not about travel. What I want to make sure on the record and repeat it, that this resolution is not about travel. And as I want to continue to plead to my colleagues, is that we not give folks the bat to hit us over the head with. Because what tends to happen is, all that gets picked up from this conversation is, this is about travel. This is not about travel. Keep the conversation where it is. I do not think anybody on this board will intentionally mislead or has an underlying objective. If you think that is the case, call that person outside of the meeting and have a man-to-man or man-to-woman conversation. What is this resolution about? But I think we are making these things too complicated. And I know principles are principles, but this is not about travel. This is about appointing folks to a national organization committee. And what tends to happen is these sound bites get picked up about travel when travel is not even on the agenda. If you want to talk about travel, put travel on the agenda. If you want to make a statement or if you got a principle about travel, put it on the agenda. You call down and talk to Todd and say, Todd, is there anything that look like it's travel on the agenda? And if you think it is, put it on the agenda. Ask Todd to put it on the agenda. I want to talk about travel. But let's not hijack something as simple as a resolution and make it about something that it is not. Because that's how we get hit over the head. Oh, they down there trying to sneak travel in some kind of way. That's the narrative, Dr. Wilson. That's the narrative. And we cannot continue to give folks the back to hit us over the head.
Can I point of clarification? Do it real quickly. You yourself said if it's not said, it wasn't said, and that's what I've done in the public forum.
But I also said, get with folks offline, ask the people, what is it about? And if we got to establish a system of trust down here, and if you can't trust what the folks up here are saying, you know, we got a problem. And if somebody says that this is not about travel, this is about putting people on the committee, then folks, we got a problem. Because I wouldn't intentionally lie to anybody on this board. You got my word on that. I don't have any ill-conceived motives. So if I put something on the agenda to say I'm appointing folks to our national organization board to have representation, just like Commissioner Johnson is president of the state Black Caucus, Black Police Jury, that's what it's about. And so I get principle is there, but let's keep the issues where they are. All right? That's my plea.
Did someone call for the
Commissioner
question?
Gage Watts.
I see call for the question.
Second. Commissioner
It's
Gage
like that
Watts
just went
has
out the window.
rightfully called for the question. And it was second by Commissioner Lyndon Johnson.
And I
Please
want to
vote.
say on the record, I publicly agree with your last statement.
Right. Thank you.
And you're out of order. Like Gerald Bowman.
Always.
All right.
What's the order?
Please vote on the question. Question has been called. Please vote. Your pleasure. On the ordinance. As written. You say pick your point. Are we over?
Waiting on Todd.
All right, that was.
All right.
All right, that passes 11 to 1. Thank you.
10 to 1.
10 to 1, I'm sorry. 10 to 1. All right.
We voted on, we called the question and we approved the resolution?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Resolution number
Yeah, that
54.
was unanimous to call for the question, and then we came back and did 10 to 1.
Resolution number 54, 2017 expresses support for the city of Shreveport, Louisiana's response to the request for proposals issued by the New Orleans Pelicans for the purpose of becoming the flagship community for the New Orleans Pelicans G League team.
So move for adoption.
Second.
Moved by Chair, second by Commissioner Lyndon Johnson.
Nobody's on the board.
Nobody's on the board. Please vote. That passes 9-0.
Resolution number 55, proclaiming June as African American Music Appreciation Month in Caddo Parish.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Bowman, second by Commissioner Lynn Cawthorn. I see Commissioner, do you have anything on yours? You want to speak?
No, it
You wanna
speaks for
speak?
itself.
Commissioner Lyndon Johnson.
I want to englobal resolution 55, englobal and adopt resolution 55, 56, and 57.
Second.
He wants to remove 57,
Yeah,
so can we just do 55 and 56, get there in just a minute?
Okay then, well, englobal 55 and 56
Okay,
and adopt.
second.
Second.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Lynn Cawthorn to englobo and adopt. Please vote.
I think Commissioner Gage wants to say something about sickle cell.
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry. Put it on the.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, on June 19th, as we raise awareness that it is National Sickle Cell Awareness Day in Caddo Parish, it's actually nationally already, a Sickle Cell Awareness Day. I would like to ask you and the public as well to make sure that you go out and do something in honor of the patients who are fighting sickle cell disease, like giving blood or becoming a bone marrow, transplant donor. So just make sure that we just don't adopt this day, let's do something special on this day. Thank you.
And I believe on July 6th, Alpha Phi Alpha, we're gonna have a proclamation meeting for them down here. Don't we meet on the 6th of July?
All right.
Yeah.
The 6th. So that'll be, because the tournament will start, so if you wanna present them this proclamation on the 6th.
Okay. Thanks.
But they do that in honor of sickle cell as well. Did you catch that? They'll be there. All right, please vote.
We'll be back by then.
Next.
All right, resolution number 57 of 2017, authorizing the Caddo Parish Commission to sponsor the foster grandparent program.
No.
I think we want to.
Mr. Johnson.
Johnson?
Commissioner Johnson is, I make a motion to postpone this motion at this time, is that
I'm
correct?
gonna make the motion to, remove the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Johnson moves that we remove 57 at this time, second by Commissioner Gage Watts. Please vote on removing resolution number 57. I'm sorry, was there a question? I apologize. Did you want to speak on yours?
Yes.
Go ahead.
As the chairman of the Personnel Policies and Procedures Committee, there was an opportunity to support the foster grandparents program that we all wanted to do and that we approved unanimously to do. But after attempting to do that, I was advised by administration. Initially, the goal was to bring them in and that the parish would serve as a sponsor or conduit for them and simply be a sponsor head. But after looking into it, I was advised by administration that it would require hiring a couple of the employees for the parish. They would have to be parish employees, and with that, having all of the benefits that go along with that, which was not the initial plan. The plan was to support them and help them in any way that we could. But after looking at it closer, it required more than that. And so that was not necessarily the most prudent thing for the parish or for the commission in that respect. And since I bought the resolution, I'm respectfully withdrawing it for that reason.
Thank you, Commissioner, who made the second?
I did.
Commissioner Gates wants, if you want to speak on the second.
Yes, I just, thank you, Commissioner Johnson, for bringing clarity to the reason why we're removing this from the agenda on today, to formulate it in a different direction. So, I just wanted to make sure that we had some clarity out here, instead of just removing it from it and no one knew why we were taking it away.
Commissioner Leslie Johnson.
That was my comments. I wanted to know why, and I wanted the people that's in TV land and internet land to also know why we was taking it off, not just saying it's gone, but, you know, the reason why.
Thank you. Please vote on the board.
Yeah, back on the board?
Yeah, I want to
I'm
ask
sorry,
if,
Commissioner Lewis, yeah.
want to ask if Ms. Erica Bryan could speak to it, give any additional clarity beyond what I
Yes,
said.
just to let you know, we couldn't do it because of the reasons that Commissioner Johnson spoke of, but we did contact Caddo Community Action Agency, and they're working with them in order to still have a sponsor for the foster grandparent program. So it's not our intent not to have the program anymore. It's just that the Caddo Parish Commission cannot be the sponsor. But we are working with CCAA to get them to be the sponsor and still have the program.
All right, thank you. Please vote. That passes 11-0.
All right, that passes. We have no old business. We move to new business. Selection of the 2017-2018 Caddo Parish Official Journal.
So moved.
Oh, we got to choose between the two.
I'm just not used to doing it in these past years.
I move that the journal, the official journal, be the Caddo Citizen Shreveport Sun.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Doug Dominic, second by Commissioner Gage Watt. Would you want to speak on your motion?
Not at this time.
Do you want to speak on the
Caddo
second?
Citizen Shreveport Sun.
Okay. I see Commissioner Atkins on the board.
I understand the history of why this decision has been made in the past. However, I encourage our commission members to think about the readership of the Caddo Citizen Shreveport Sun team, which is about 6,000, versus the readership for the Shreveport Times, which is about 25,000. That's at four times the readership of the Shreveport Times versus the Caddo Citizen Shreveport Sun team. And the costs are very similar at a 33-cent versus 24-cent per line. So I think the true value here is certainly the Shreveport Times, and the coverage for the Shreveport Times is certainly greater. So with all due respect, I won't be able to support Commissioner Dominic's proposal.
Commissioner Chavez.
Well, thanks, President. I was going to ask Finance, Erica Bright. I'm looking at it, and obviously this is not very easy mathematically the way that this is worded, but the better deal looks like the Shreveport Times, correct? As far as financially, not as far as, reach, but from a financial standpoint, the cheaper scenario for the taxpayers is the Shreveport Times. This one goes by line item, this one goes by 24 cents per agate
You
line.
need to ask our clerk that, he'll tell you that's not.
No,
correct.
it's our proposal, and what we asked for was per agate line, and that's what both of them sent. That's what we asked for, and that's what they gave us. They talk about there's different columns width and stuff like that, but in the end, we've checked, it becomes basically the same amount. We spent $38,000, not just this body, but the parish as a whole, to advertise in the official journal in 2016. So we'll spend that. We would spend that either way, with either one is what it would be.
So we're getting, so obviously the Sun is cheaper at 24 cents, but the penetration is only 6,000, whereas 33 cents and the market reach is 25,000. So from that standpoint, obviously the Times a better deal. I'm not on the board to make a motion because I'm speaking, so I'll go ahead and leave it at that. But I get the numbers now. Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. Thanks, President.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes. I mean, if you look at most everything being equal, and you look at the Citizen and the Shreveport Sun being local newspapers, I think you want to support local. And if people were really engaged in reading those journals, then instead of them having 6,000, they'll have the number would be increased. But basically, this is just satisfying the mandate that we have to do and putting that in the paper. And so if they're engaged, they're gonna buy the paper and read it. If not, they're gonna watch it on video. They'll request the minutes. So this is just something you have to do. Now, with the Shreveport Times, yeah, it goes out to more people, but at the same time, do you want to support that? Or do you want to support local newspapers and making sure that they survive and be around for next year? That's it.
Mr. Jones.
Oh, I made this motion. I would ask for y'all to support it. It seems like every year this gets brought up, and I would just simply say that the Caddo Citizen Shreveport Sun always seems to be, that we would be the cheaper, the best. As far as the money that you would pay, Todd, if I'm correct, that's how it normally is. I think it would continue to be that way. Obviously, the Shreveport Times, we understand, has a broader reach, but I will support my original motion and ask that you do so. I don't think we need to sit here and beat a dead horse, as it always is brought up. We know how we're gonna vote. We just need to go ahead and vote on it.
We keep talking about horses.
Mr. Miller.
You're first.
Yeah, I get to reserve that right.
Let me ask you, is the information that's provided in these advertisements, is it also attached to our website where anyone can access it for nothing and not even have to engage with the Times?
It is sent to the Louisiana Press Association. Those advertisements are put on the Louisiana Press Association, which is up for the public to look at, yes.
Okay.
I don't know that it's on our website. I don't believe that's at this time.
I would suggest maybe we can get that added to our website, and that way no one has to pay anything. And most people today do have an a lot of people. They want paper in there. Paper in there. Yeah, and they're paying for something else too. That kind of stuff. Or trying to do a singles match. Use that too. So anyhow, I'd just like to suggest to do that. I think Commissioners Chavez and Atkins have some good points too, though. So I just want to make sure it's completely accessible to anyone through our website. We need to use this website. I saw something here recently that one of our goals is to redo the website. I don't know if it's completely redone or what, but anything that we can accommodate those people that do have computers, let's allow that to happen. And just as they can have notifications when we're having meetings, if they want to sign up for the notifications of the advertisements that we're having to do in the other papers, let them go ahead and go in there and sign up for that, and that way they'll get automatic notification. Then we got our bases covered. And nothing else is also by blocking the Shreveport Times saying where they can find the legal proceedings. That's it. Thank you.
Commissioner, I'm sorry, Clerk Hopkins has a point of clarification.
Just a point of clarification, I guess we do put something on our website. Each time we put our agenda on there, it shows our, you know, what we're actually advertising in that sense. That these are the ones that are being introduced by title, and these are the ones that are coming up for that meeting. So I guess it is there for the public.
That's true.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification, Commissioner Bowe.
Call for a question.
Second.
I hadn't done it yet.
Sorry, Mr. President.
I'll get you after this one.
All
I just
right.
wanted to ask, I got the cost was $38,000, is that correct?
That's correct. That's what it says in the bid.
Is there anything that prohibits us from, if we choose our journal, if we decide to do marketing or advertising, or like, I think Andre does some events out there, does this tie us? Does this become an exclusive type of? So this is totally for our advertising.
For your official minutes.
For our official, right, now,
But we
okay.
use other mediums as well for
Okay.
different things.
Right, now what about like, our property sales and stuff like that? Don't they have to be advertised and stuff like that?
Anything that has to be advertised in the official journal
Yes.
has to be advertised in the one you select.
Okay.
However, that does not prevent you from putting it in other media.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's my question. The question has been called by Commissioner Bowman, second by Commissioner Lyndon Johnson. Please vote on the question being called.
Just a question.
You got a question?
Yes, this is calling for the question. Calling for the question. Question has been called 11-0.
Yes, sir. Now we vote on selection of Caddo Citizen Shreveport Sun.
Yes, please
That was
vote
the motion.
on the motion as it stands. I don't think there was an alternative motion, was it?
That was, it was just one motion, yeah.
That's it.
This is Commissioner Dominic's motion, is that correct, Mr. President?
Right, that was the only motion that was made. I wanted to be clear.
That's what you do what you need to do.
They're not here to talk up, so. Or against.
All right, that passes 7-4.
Move to adjourn.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Dave Watts. Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, no. So, no, some people think
Last meeting like this.
What do you